So let's just jump right in. What if I told you that your brain, the one thing you trust to make all your decisions, is actually running on scripts you've never even read? We're talking about unseen programming that literally filters your reality, it changes your memories, and it guides your choices, all without ever asking for your permission.
It's a pretty tough question, right? Because deep down, we all want to believe we're in the driver's seat of our own lives. But today, we're going to poke at that idea a little bit. We are going to look at the powerful automatic programming that shapes who you are and what you do every single day.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here. Our mission is to pull back the curtain on the 3 most powerful scripts your mind uses to get through the world. Because once you see them, you really can't unsee them. And that's where your power actually begins.
Okay, so our first script, it's all about perception. See, your brain doesn't just passively observe the world like a camera. No, it actively builds your reality. It uses this powerful filter to decide what information gets in and what gets totally ignored. The problem is, that filter is deeply, deeply biased.
And this is where it gets really interesting, especially when you're just, scrolling through the news. On one side, you have confirmation bias, which makes you click on headlines that back up what you already think. It just feels good to be right. But at the exact same time, your negativity bias is constantly scanning for threats, pulling your eyes to stories that make you angry or scared or outraged. It's like a 1-2 punch for your attention. So, why does all the negative stuff stick with us so much more? Well, it's an evolutionary feature, not a bug. Think about it. For our ancestors, remembering where that tiger was hiding was, life or death. Forgetting where the tasty berries were, that was just an inconvenience. Your brain is literally built to prioritize threats, and this explains perfectly why outrage gets so much more engagement online than joy does. It's a direct hack into our ancient survival wiring.
And that brings us to the really uncomfortable truth about confirmation bias. We all like to think we weigh information objectively. But our brains? They're wired to find proof, not truth. They hunt for, interpret, and remember things in a way that just confirms what we already believe. It's a really humbling and honestly crucial thing to recognize in ourselves.
All right, let's move on to our second script. This one kicks in the second other people are around. This is the code that controls how you behave in social situations, and a lot of the time it operates from a place of fear and just plain old assumption.
You ever spill a little coffee on your shirt and suddenly feel like there's a giant flashing neon sign pointing right at the stain? That right there is the spotlight effect. It's that nagging feeling that everyone noticed you stumble over a word in a meeting, or that your hair is doing that one weird thing. This powerful illusion is one of the main drivers of social anxiety and the fear of public speaking, all because we just fundamentally overestimate how much space we take up in other people's minds. And to really see this in action, check this out. There was this classic Cornell study where they had students wear let's just say, an embarrassing Barry Manilow t-shirt into a room full of their peers. When they asked the students how many people they thought noticed the shirt, they guessed on average about half the room, 50%. But here's what actually happened. The real number of people who even noticed the shirt was only around 25%. Literally half of what the students felt. We consistently and dramatically overestimate how much other people are paying attention to us. Truth is, they're way too busy being the star in their own movie to be a featured extra in yours.
And that brings up a really interesting question, doesn't it? If everyone is so wrapped up in their own spotlight, who are we all looking to for cues on how to act? This is where the other side of that social coin comes into play.
The answer is we're watching each other. This is called social proof, and it's one of the brain's biggest and most powerful shortcuts. When we're not sure what to do, we just outsource our decision-making to the crowd. If a restaurant has a huge line, we just assume it's gotta be good. If a product has thousands of 5-star reviews, we trust it. If a tip jar already has cash in it, we're way more likely to add some ourselves. It's this automatic script that just assumes the crowd knows best. Okay, this brings us to our third and final script. And I'm gonna be honest, this is probably the most unsettling one. This script isn't just filtering your present, it's actively going back and rewriting your past. This is so important. Your memory does not work like a video camera, perfectly recording everything as it happens. Nope, every single time you recall a memory, you are rebuilding it from scratch. And in that rebuilding process, your mood right now, new information you've learned, even what other people suggest, all of it can corrupt the original file.
And we're not talking about small changes. In one incredible study, researchers were able to convince adults that as kids, they met Bugs Bunny at Disneyland. And people didn't just sort of agree, they vividly recalled shaking his hand, hearing him say, "What's up, Doc?" an event that is 100% impossible. Why? Because Bugs Bunny is a Warner Brothers character. He would never be at Disneyland. That is the power of the false memory effect, and it just shows you how flexible our own personal history really is.
Now, why on earth would our brains do this? Well, a lot of the time, it's to fix this really painful feeling called cognitive dissonance. This is that intense, squirmy, uncomfortable feeling you get when you do something that goes against one of your core beliefs. Like, maybe you think of yourself as an honest person, but then you tell a lie. Your brain absolutely hates this feeling and will do pretty much anything to make it go away.
And here's the craziest part. Instead of changing what we do next time, our brain often takes the easy way out. It rewrites the belief. It works backwards to justify the action we already took. The smoker who knows smoking is bad doesn't always just quit. Instead, their brain whispers, well, my grandfather smoked his whole life and lived to be 90. The belief is quietly changed to line up with the behavior. And just like that, the discomfort is gone. We are experts at rationalizing after the fact.
So after all of that, it might feel a little like you're just a passenger along for the ride. But here is the most important part of this whole thing. Just being aware is the first step to taking back control. You can't change a system if you don't even know it exists. But now, you do.
So, the way to start taking back the wheel is by just asking yourself better questions. When you feel totally certain about something, ask, am I actually looking for the truth, or am I just looking for proof that I'm right? When you're about to make the same choice as everyone else, ask, am I following my gut or just the crowd? Before that big presentation, just ask yourself, honestly, how much are they really going to notice? And when you think about your past, ask, is this a perfect recording, or is it maybe a story I've polished up a little over time?
These scripts, they never turn off. They are running in the background of your mind at this very moment. So the final question isn't if they're running, but which one you're going to notice first, because that's where the real work begins.